What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another video. My name is Bondi Johnson, and today we're going to start a coffee roasting company with ChatGPT. I wanted to give a little backstory to this. I once upon a time owned a coffee roasting company in college. Loved it. Loved the people, loved the industry, loved coffee itself. It's like a fine wine. You like sourcing beans, and then you get to taste where this bean, the journey of the bean.
Ah, the Danish. Clearly from Brussels.
You know, it's something, it sounds a little like woo-woo, but it really is cool. It's like people who are into fine wine, you know, we don't question them, but coffee, it's a little more like, oh, it's all the same. Anyways, I love coffee. I love coffee roasting. So I'm going to start a coffee roasting company again with ChatGPT, and this time it's going to be very different. I wanted to give a little bit of a backstory as to why I'm doing this. So I own a gym. I own a U-Haul business. I have an events business where we get flown places to coach. I have an online subscription library through the gym business as well. I run a YouTube channel with Dan. I'm like on it. I don't run it. He does, but I'm on it, and we're very much like integrated. We have a podcast, do a bunch of stuff. Okay. I just bought a shipping container yesterday, and it was just random things that I like to do. I have found myself in a different position in life. First time around, coffee roasting company was something I needed to make money. I was trying to find a career, and I thought maybe this could be the thing, but they're slow to start. The margins aren't great, and you're not talking about like a whole lot of revenue because it's, you know, coffee's cheap, so you have to do a lot of volume. So this time around, the coffee company is going to be, it's going to look different. And the reason that I decided to start is because we are going to be putting together a retail room in the gym. On the other side of this wall, we have a room that was now vacated, and we're able to put anything in there. So I'm going to put a retail room in there. We're going to sell energy drinks. We're going to sell merchandise, which is a whole nother story and project for another time. And I've been wanting to roast coffee again. So when the retail room became a thing in my head, I was like, whoa, if I started roasting coffee, I could sell coffee in the retail room. There's no pressure. There's no need to get sales online. There's no need to ship. Really, really simple. And ChatGPT is going to be my partner. I'm going to sell the coffee out of the gym, and that's going to allow me to just kind of move along my own timeline. I don't need to pay rent. We already have the building. So it's giving me the opportunity to just move along as I see necessary. And that's the perfect environment for me to make videos and say, this is what we're doing. If you want to follow along with the first sort of iteration of these things, it's on my blog. I have thoughts on paper, and these are going to be a project series, so it's there. The whole thing is written out. I'm going to share the whole ChatGPT conversation so you guys can see, and maybe, you know, people take things out of this. They take things away. You could follow along, start your own coffee roasting company. So the approach to this company is going to be a small, handcrafted, you know, small batch specialty roaster. I'm not going for scale or volume. I'm going for personality, character, and storytelling. So where I landed with ChatGPT is Eudaimonia. And the backstory behind Eudaimonia. First and foremost, I love it because there's a whole story there to unpack. Many people would go, what is Eudaimonia? And it's a Greek word that was made popular by Aristotle. At least he was the biggest proponent that we know of in philosophy of eudaimonia. And it basically means fulfillment or human flourishing. And so Aristotle's whole thought on this is that we shouldn't seek happiness, we should seek fulfillment, a human flourishing. And the reason being that happiness comes and goes, and it's a feeling, it's an emotion. When we seek that thing, it's fleeting. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. And so we have this like back and forth on, are we, you know, living in the state of being we want to? And fulfillment allows for there to be the whole spectrum of emotions. You can be pursuing something like a small business venture that is not going to make you happy all the time, rest assured, but it's a fulfilling endeavor. And so though you have days that you are sad, that you are stressed, that you are afraid, that to me is a perfect name for this company. You know, when people ask me why, I'd be like, it's literally like the name of the company is the reason why. Like, it's fulfilling to me for all of the things that it's going to bring into my life, you know, from the roasting to the packaging, the branding, the marketing, the sales, the storytelling, the videos I can make, the blogs I can write, all of that stuff. I wanted to take Eudaimonia and bring it back into the new age. I didn't want this to be a company that's like, you know, still there in 100 AD, you know, talking about philosophy and making it super like granular. No, I wanted to take a phrase, Eudaimonia, and I wanted it to be somewhat educational so people get to learn what Eudaimonia is. I love philosophy, I love coffee, I love business. It's encompassing everything. So Eudaimonia itself pays homage to Aristotle and philosophy. I want to make the logo a little bit more new age. right? And I also wanted to have a craft, unique specialty feel to it. So that's where we're going with the brand. And that was the first part of this conversation with ChatGPT. So we went back and forth on a bunch of different names, and we landed on Eudaimonia Roasters. I'm going to use chat to give ideas, but then I'm probably going to jump in and say, okay, what feels correct? And that's a big part of starting a business. I'm hoping that this can give people a look at the process of starting a business, because I'm going to treat this fully like a business. Now, the only difference is I'm going to open this under or operate this under a company that I have called BVP Ventures, which, funny story about that. That LLC that I incorporated, BVP stood for something, and I don't know. I can't remember. I wrote it down somewhere. I don't know what it stands for. So I have this LLC, BVP Ventures, and I don't know what BVP stands for. It's going to operate under that LLC, so that's what I'll use to file like my sales tax and everything, and that's a conversation for a different time. But still, without me having to set up a new LLC, I'm doing everything else that I would be doing if I was taking this from 0 to 100, which is selling coffee. Oh, and that's the other thing. We talked about the roaster. So we landed on the name, and then we landed on the roaster. It gave me a bunch of different roasters, but I have had my eye on the Aleo Bullet since the first time I saw it like 4 years ago. And now they have a new version, the R2 and then the R2 Pro. The Aleo Bullet is just a roaster that I find very aesthetically pleasing. I love the functionality. And the first time I started a coffee roasting company, I used an air roaster. Chat gave me a bunch of different options. They were all like really like cheap options. Some were more expensive, but I was like, hey, what about the Aleo Bullet? And it was like, yeah, that's a great home roaster, for you to be able to do like small scale production roasts. But also just like personal roasts. And that's what this is going to be. Like, roasting coffee for myself. It's a small, I think it does a kilogram, up to a kilogram maybe, but as low as like half-pound batches. So, anywhere from like half a pound to 2 pounds, essentially, which is perfect because I'm going to sell 8 ounce, I'm gonna sell half-pound bags of coffee. So in one roast, I could get 4 bags out, and I don't plan on trying to supply a grocery store. So being able to run a roast, if I'm roasting coffee for a couple hours, I could have, maybe a dozen bags, more than that actually, because I think this machine is good at going back to back to back, which is part of what I like. And then it has its own software to be able to track and reproduce roasts. The Aleo Bullet is the roaster that I'm going with. The name of the company is Eudaimonia Roasters. I already bought the domain, so anybody out there who thinks that they can sneak in and grab it, nice try, but I'm quicker than that. Operating under BVP Ventures LLC, which is an existing LLC that I have, and that's it. That's what we got so far. Next thing that we're going to do is figure out the branding and marketing component, I guess you would say, but more just like the branding. I want to know what does this brand look like? For those people who followed this channel in the first place for coffee roasting content, like, we're back. We're doing it again. Slightly different dynamic this time, but I think one that's going to actually be a little bit more fun, since the first time around, I didn't capture everything as it was happening. And this is literally going to be me creating it in real time. Once I make the purchase and get everything in, I'll break down, okay, here's the roaster, here's what it looks like, unpackage it, here's what it costs, in total, like shipped to door, all the different stuff. So I'm excited for this venture. Hopefully you guys are as well. And I'll see you in the next video, which is going to be branding. And I'll update you then. Blog will be posted first. Video will be posted at some point after the blog. So my website will be in the description. You guys can follow along. All right, everybody. Hopefully this made sense. Hopefully it was smooth. And see you guys in the next video.